Hello everyone, Mike Arnold here, co-founder of Patreon Partners with Bob Iacchino. Checking in on Bitcoin. So just stopping short of our major cluster area at the 5,900, rallying back, moving sideways, letting the 8 catch up. At that point we dragged this down here because we had a nice correction move, which then gave us our next level, 5801. Coming down here, pausing there, then dropping, and then having a strong reversal. So I'm just going to update these major levels down because of the size of this strong reversal, and then we can see what that leads to. And I'll also show you this was a really hard pattern to trade, but I will point it out in case you didn't see it. Let me move everything down here real quick. Sorry about the delay. All right. So if you come down here to a shorter term chart, I can show you on a 1 hour. Actually, the levels disappeared now. Sometimes they just drop off. Don't know why that is with this charting platform. But we had this double bottom pattern. This was a really tough one to trade though. But it was interesting to see you had a divergence. See higher, high in the RSI, lower, low in price. Just below that prior key level, I just moved away from. Then you got the strong reversal pattern. So now what should you do? You see it just blasted through all the targets. And if you look back at the 4 hour, again, went to the top of the rotation zone, closing just below it. What we're going to be watching for now is to see how this pulls back. That's what's going to be critical. Right now, the top of this prior resistance, potentially coming support, is about 61.51. Below that, we'd be watching for, if it pulls back a bit, about 60.50. We don't really want to see it close back down, especially below the 6,000 level. So let's just see if this can hold and wait. What we're really watching for is another push higher, get the cross in the rotation zone, then catch on it and turn back up. Now, if we get through and rally through this before we do another video, you can watch about the 62.61 as minor resistance, but next real area we're watching is about 6,400 again. Let's check in on the daily chart. It's going to give us a bigger picture. So that 6,400 is exactly where the 8 is also. So that's going to be a very critical level. And you see there's this sort of sideways movement with key support. Some of the candle bodies coming in right there, this low coming in there. So we're really targeting. So if you did manage to pick up anything on the spike low, or we get a pullback and catch and you can pick up something, again, this is still very aggressive because we're against the rotation zone on the 4 hour and the daily. So that would be a very, very aggressive trade. That's where you'll want to at least move up stops or take off partial profits at that 6,400. Once through there, we'll be watching it closer by the 21. Now trading at 67 area cluster, but that's going to keep dropping. Keep that in mind. Let's look to the downside. If this spike low does not hold, then we're looking at about 56.25, then a major cluster at 5,500. Now, when's the last time we were trading here? Let's see, we hit these lows. Those were the spike lows back in October and November, mid-November. Now we're back at least up to the end of October levels, but we're retesting some price action areas we have not tested in quite some time. So there is still a fair amount of weakness. This is a very nice reversal bar. Another thing you can watch for is do the 50% retracement of this bar and see if we get a nice pullback and hold there. That's another entry pattern we really like. So that approximates the high. It's not going to show up if I do it on that bar, but see, like right here, we have a really nice cluster. I actually drew it the wrong way. Sorry about that. Let me fix that. This approximate, well, look at this cluster right here. You can probably see it better if I change this color quickly. We'll just make it blue for now. So you see this blue-red cluster right there. And it just happens to be at 6,007. So you target that 6,000 level. So if we pull back nicely, that's a 50% retracement of this spike low approximately, and then rotate back up. That can be an aggressive entry if anybody is looking for one. Switched over to Bitcoin Cash. Before I get started, just want to let everybody know that anything we cover in any of the cryptos, it's not crypto specific. You can use these same techniques in anything. You can use them in stocks, futures, foreign exchange. Doesn't matter. It holds true. We're not modifying this specifically for cryptos or any specific cryptocurrency. So one thing, let me give another teaching lesson. So when you see, we drew the levels from here. We got a 1 bar pause, then we spiked down a bit, then we essentially moved sideways. When we do something like this, it's best to update your levels to this major low, because of just the correction nature of it, okay? Because now we have a nice sideways move. Instead of one bar, we get a nice sideways move, so your levels become a lot more accurate, which gave you the 693, then the 667 level. So you see we plunged through to 693, stopping pretty much closing just above. We got down to 661, but closing just above, retesting it with the low there, closing on it, and then launching away from it. And you also see this divergence down there at the key level, and then just a rocket move back up. So that's why you want to update those levels. I'm just going to update them again now, since we also have this major low here, so we can really see if this low does not hold, what the next major push area is once we look at the daily. So you also see how it came up, spiked. We have prior resistance, still resistance, holding right now at the top of the 21. Let's just look at that 1 hour again on here. So this was also a very interesting double bottom pattern. I'm not going to put the levels on it. It just blasted right through them. But there was another double bottom and another, this isn't a divergence because this actually made a higher high, but you can see the momentum shifting and then the rocket move back up. Another thing you could do that same thing with the retracement of the long candle. You can also watch for a return to this rotation zone on the 1 hour and a rotation back up. Just keep in mind right now, if this were to close down here, it's a double top, so then I'd be watching for a slightly bigger pullback, but not necessarily going to new lows. So right now we're trading up against some resistance. If we get through there, the next major area I'll be targeting, you might see some at 800. Next major area is about 815. Let's now switch to the daily chart. Daily chart, let me zoom. So we're talking about the 815. Well, the 8 on the daily is around the 818, 819. So 815 to 820 is going to be key. You might get some spikes through there because you see this prior support becoming resistance. So that's the next level you want to watch on the rally. And then of course, you watch for the tops of 21 if we hold. And just like we did on Bitcoin, you can sort of watch, again, see if I move this. You're going to just want to really do this one candle, but I don't have a problem if you want to just go from here. 716 versus 720. This is an area, so you're watching 716 to 720 on a pullback to make sure that holds, and then a rotation back up. Now, if these levels do not hold, we come back and plummet through to all these buying areas, 627, and then major cluster at 591, 594 to 600. So anywhere 591 to 600 is the next major support level. So yeah, for you trying to do a little teaching also today for everybody with Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash, and we'll talk to everyone soon. Bye for now.